This is Montreal Now with Aaron Rand and Natasha Hall. CJAD 800.
That is James MENNIE over at the Montreal Gazette. So, Jim, as you tweeted today, what'd you send me? You said, finally, Prime Minister Trudeau is acting, but the horses are now out of the barn.
Yeah, after the last horse leaves the barn, he slams the door. All that said, though, guys, I mean, you could refer to this as the face slap heard across the country. It's an amazing coincidence that as more and more voices are being risen, not just about Bill 96, but about the way this Legault government does business, and as more and more voices were being raised against, even yesterday on this very show, the political cowardice of Justin Trudeau and his entourage, all of a sudden, here we have David Lametti saying, Bill 21, which was adopted into law nearly 3 years ago. We're going to get involved in this, take it to the Supreme Court, because one way or another, it's going to wind up before the Supreme Court, whether the Court of Appeal overturns the lower court's decision maintaining it on the grounds of the notwithstanding clause, or Quebec will go, and if it's upheld, then presumably Ottawa is going to go. And it wasn't, Mr. Lametti didn't stop there. We're very concerned about the way that minorities in Quebec, linguistic minorities in Quebec, are being treated with Bill 96. And we're going to be paying very close attention to that. Now, you have to remember what I've just said took up maybe about 35 to 40 seconds. It also represents about 12.9 billion % more than the Trudeau government has said about either of these laws since they came into being. I mean, Bill 96 has been in the works for a year. There has been plenty said about it, and up until this very day, there has been virtually squat out of the government that is supposed to protect our rights from one end of this country to another. Now, not surprisingly, François Legault is hopping up and down. The self-described head of the Quebec nation is saying, this is Bill 96, Bill 21. The majority of Quebecers support this. Well, you know what? It's difficult to say if the majority of Quebecers support that. You may have a couple of Léger polls to back you up. You certainly don't have a mandate. You never ran on this, but you certainly don't have a mandate from the people of Quebec unless you, with your accountant's abilities, you describe less than 24% of eligible voters in Quebec voting your government into place. It's going to be very interesting.
Well, Jim, let me stop you there, because here is François Legault reacting to Justin Trudeau, reacting to Bill 96, Brian.
Yeah.
C'est un manque de respect flagrant de Justin Trudeau envers les Québécois, puisqu'on sait qu'il y a une majorité de Québécois qui sont d'accord avec la loi 21. Et là, donc, Justin Trudeau vient dire, moi, je vais aller me mêler de ça, puis je vais aller contre la volonté d'une majorité de Québécois.
So my question is, and I know we were talking about this, I kind of believe this, I think other people are coming around to believe it too, this is really, for François Legault, it's like a home run. Mm-hmm. The feds are playing into his hand, which is to simply say, look, and I think Tom Mulcair said this as well, they're sticking their nose into our business, and that will set the stage for, guess what, a referendum, a vote, sovereignty, whatever. You believe it?
Bring it on. Bring it on. You see, over the course of my job, and especially the great fun I've had on this show, ever since François Legault has been elected premier, when I've learned to speak fluent Legault, which is not the same thing as speaking French. And when François Legault says, la majorité des Québécois, what that means is moi. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
This is about François Legault. This is about François Legault's ego. This is about François Legault's legislative bulldozer. Not suddenly hitting a tree stump and then turning around and saying, damn the tree stump. Bring it on. Don't start making all these, listen, he's a recycled pack, okay? He's a recycled separatist from the days when separatists would thump their chest and hop up and down, and then, making, as somebody once wrote, make a tremendous sound signifying nothing, all right? But right now, I think there are francophones and there are anglophones who have been living with this, and remember, François Legault was elected on the pledge to get past this crap politics that had dominated us for half a century. Guess what? We're backing it up to our necks thanks to François Legault. So bring it on. Don't run around and give scrums. And, I'm waiting now, Quebecers on their knees, oppressed, surrounded by English, threatened, whatever. Shut up and say, listen, my next mandate will include all the other things I'm promising you right now, but it will also include a referendum on separation. All right? Stop acting. Stop the opera. Stop the barroom bullying from the far end of the bar until someone turns around and tells you to shut up. All right? Do it. Bring it on. We'll see what happens.
Okay.
I'm having that, careful what you wish for. I love your bravado, and I love what you're saying, because I think, it's calling him on it. But then I'm like, be careful what you wish for. Maybe we're wrong in gauging what the real sentiment of Quebecers is right now.
I know people. I've mentioned this on the show before. After all these years, you tend to get a little shell-shocked. And you say, that's it, because, it'll take the slightest thing. It'll take another fleur-de-lis being stomped on in Brockville, and all of a sudden they, and I to the life of me, I have no idea who they might be, but presumably the majority of Quebecers will suddenly haul up the Jolly Roger and separate. For crying out loud. I'll tell anyone who thinks that, it's the same message for Francois Legault, okay? It's 2022, okay? Go call up Léger, have them do another survey. Never mind these illegal laws. Flat out, sovereignty. Do you support an independent Quebec? End of story. Let's see what the numbers are. Because thus far, the numbers have been so bad that Monsieur Léger doesn't even waste time and the expense of asking the question.
Mm-hmm.
So this isn't, in a sense, Jim, your take is this is like poking the bear knowing that the bear's never going to wake up.
Well, poking which bear? If right now, the bear that got poked is in Ottawa.
Well, when I say the bear, I mean separation. I agree with you. I mean, we know otherwise the PQ wouldn't be on the verge of life support, right? That's their main platform is separation, and we know no one's interested in that. So by Francois Legault now picking fights with the feds, he's kind of playing that card about we're going to have a referendum without ever saying it. And I understand you're saying go ahead and just say it, right? Yeah. Stop bullying everybody by threatening them to do it. Yeah. You actually think he would do that, or is this just that, a threat?
It's a threat. Because he knows. Why do you think he formed the CAQ in the first place? He knew the products he was selling for most of his political career was obsolete. No one's buying it. So he figured, you know what? I'll get separation through the back door. I'll use the notwithstanding clause. I will demand. And the threat now not being that, Quebec will leave Canada, is that you won't get any of the seats in this province. We'll make sure of that. Even though that threat was proven to be so empty in the last federal election when he essentially endorsed the Conservatives, and they lost the seat in Quebec. But let's, as long as we're having fun here, let's get our police tape, make our own little crime scene here. Let's look for other pieces of evidence, guys. Can you remind me when the last ocean of placards were out there supporting Bill 101, Bill 21, Bill 96? Because I must have missed those.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we had a demonstration in front of the Roddick.
A la 1995, a la Meech Lake. Can you remind me of when those big demos were? Because I remember they got a pickup band when the thousands showed up to protest Bill 96 earlier this month. The only counter demo I saw was a pickup band, about 5 or 6 people saying, doesn't go far enough, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, that's 5 or 6. So it was 20 or 30 regardless, but I understand what you're saying. That feeling is not, you certainly get the sense, Jim, I agree with you, that feeling is just not out there anymore.
No.
So who's he playing to when I say Legault? I don't get it.
As usual, the people who actually dictate government policy, which are Journal de Montréal columnists, and also for the hardcore boomers out in the regions who have only seen Montreal in a picture, who figure they are surrounded by threatening Muslims who speak English.
Yeah.
That's the world that they're in, and that's who he's talking to. And because even though they are a sliver of Quebec's population, because of our electoral map, because of our system, they can send majority governments to the National Assembly.
Okay.
Excuse me, guys, I want to be clear here. This isn't about saying, let's go back to 1969. I got news for you. I like Quebec. I like a French Quebec. I like many of the systems that we have here in place. What I don't like are wannabe Duplessis running around saying that they speak for everybody, when in fact it is demonstrable that they speak only for themselves and a small clutch of people around them.
James MENNIE, the Montreal Gazette. Jim, thank you.
Demain.